All right, are we good?
Yes, good to go.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to start off by introducing ourselves. Thank you, everybody, for coming to Adult Skating 101, a crash course in adult skating aiming for the high school and collegiate crowd. So first, we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm Aviva Cantor. I'm the chair of the Adult Skating Committee. I compete at the adult gold level in free skate and showcase, and I'm working on pre-gold dances and novice moves.
And I'm Elaine Larson. I'm the vice chair of singles on the adult skating committee, and I compete adult intermediate novice, and I have my senior moves and my senior solo free skate.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Morrison. I also compete singles at the adult gold level, and I also do synchronized skating. I've done synchro for a number of years, and I'm currently on the Colonials Open Adult team.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Westmoreland. I'm one of the members of the Adult Skating Committee. I'm also a judge for U.S. Figure Skating, and I currently compete at the Masters Intermediate Novice Ladies.
So now we're going to get started. Let me make sure I'm able to control this. Nope, can't do it that way. I'm going to do it that way. So the first question you're going to ask yourself is, why adult skating? So the first thing we want to remind you is that skating doesn't end after graduation. This is a lifetime sport. You can do this for your entire life, and it doesn't have to stop just because one chapter of your life has ended. Skating is something that can be a part of your entire life. For me personally, I've been competing regularly since the age of 4, and I never ever stopped. There was just a natural progression from high school to college to adult skating. This is something you can always do. Another thing to keep in mind is that not only will this keep you connected to your skating family, but you're going to make a ton of new friends all over the country. And the more you keep coming back to adult competitions, particularly adult sectionals and the adult championships, you're going to start to realize that you have a new family. Like, you have friends all over the place. I mean, if you look at just who's presenting this webinar, we are all friends and we live nowhere near each other. And it's just a really amazing way to make friends and be part of a community. Also, in adult skating, you have plenty of opportunities to both compete and test. So honestly, it's pretty similar to the skating that you've been used to throughout childhood and throughout college. You still have these opportunities, and it's a great way to set goals and achieve them. You're going to find that you're going to be so focused on your school goals in college, and this is a great way to have goals outside of that. And then you're going to transition into a professional career, and so many of your goals are going to be focused on that. And it's so great to be able to just get on the ice, clear your head. You don't have to think about work. You don't think about school. You don't have to think about the dishes that you have to do and the laundry you have to do. Like, it's just an amazing way to refocus. It's also an amazing way to stay fit. As you're transitioning into adulthood, you may find yourself in a job where you're sitting at a desk 40 hours a week. And this is an outstanding way to stay in shape, keep up your stamina, and stay active. Adult skaters skate at all sorts of times of the day. A lot of skaters like skating in the morning before work, so they've already gotten their workout in before they go to work. So then once they got off work, they can just chill. We have a good deal of skaters who luck out and skate on their lunch break, which is amazing. And then also we have a lot of evening skaters like myself who will head into the rink after work. And after sitting all day at a computer, it just feels so good to go out and skate and move your body. And the last thing I wanted to say is that you're doing this for you. The older you get, you're not going to just be responsible for yourself. You're going to be responsible for others, whether you're in a relationship or you're a parent and you have a kid to be responsible for. Skating is the thing that you're doing just for you, and it makes you feel good, and you loved it as a kid and you can love it as an adult too.
So then what makes adult skating different from collegiate skating? The biggest thing is when you go to an adult competition, you're going to have more competition opportunities. Our adult competitions include singles, pairs, partner dance, solo dance, and showcase events. We are also, because of our wide range of ages, divided into age levels. If you are a traditional college student coming out of the college in your early 20s, you're going to be in age class 1. And you'll be competing with other skaters aged 21 to 35. What really makes our adult competitions special is that you are truly supported by more than just your teammates. Like Aviva said, we're all friends here. We all support and encourage each other. And prior to attending Adult Nationals, we didn't know each other. And now we're friends from all over the country. It's really cool. And you'll get tossies. You can see the picture of someone's tossie haul from, it looks like 2021. By the coveted Wendy Bear in the middle there. Tossies are little tokens of support and appreciation that we give to each other. They are now given to us. We toss them into a basket and you'll get them when you get off the ice. It's kind of a fun tradition that we have at our all adult competition.
I like to describe it as adult Halloween. Because it's kind of like going through your trick or treat basket.
So when can you compete as an adult? So you must be 21 by February 1st to compete in the adult championships. That includes doing sectionals or the championships that are a month after that. This deadline's similar to if you've done a standard track regionals, you have to, do your testing by September 1st. Same thing with the adults. You have to test for that level by February 1st, and whatever age you are is what will be the division that you're in if you're doing a non-qualifying event. So if you are under 21 and you're still wanting to join in on the fun, you absolutely can. At Adult Sectionals, we have a young adult age category for the non-qualifying events. So it's a great way just to kind of get introduced into the sport. Both at the sectionals and adult championships, we do oftentimes have a few collegiate skaters that come and want to join in on the fun. So one big thing to just be mindful of, especially if you're still in college, is you cannot compete at both the collegiate championships and the qualifying adult championships. So what this means is if you're going to qualify out of sectionals at the adult sectionals to go on to adult championships, you cannot do those events and do collegiate championships. You can, however, come to adult championships and do a showcase event or compete in your age division at the non-qualifying level for free skate or ice dance. So come and join us. It's a lot of fun.
Elaine, you're muted.
Thanks, Aviva. Can you tell I'm the one who doesn't work from home? What events do we offer at the Adult Championships? We have open events that you do not have to qualify for to attend. So anyone who is at the bronze level or higher can register to compete at the Adult Championships. You can compete in free skate, pairs, partnered dance, partnered free dance, solo pattern dance, solo free dance, and showcase events. Our showcase events are divided into two categories. We have the emotional performance category, and then we combined the other categories into a category we call lyrical pop character comedy. There are also championship events in singles, pairs, and dance. Singles championship events are for silver, gold, masters, intermediate novice, and masters junior senior skaters. And then there's one level of championship for pairs and dance. Those do require you to qualify by placing in the top 4 at your section. Our adult sectionals also have open events for adult skaters in adult 1 through masters junior senior. So any adult skater can compete at adult sectionals. And sectionals take place in early March and the championships take place in early April.
All right, so the most commonly asked question, which comes from brand new adult skaters, is what's my adult level? And that's because we name our levels for singles a bit differently. So we're going to cross our fingers that this link works. It's working. Can everyone see this chart? You can't see the chart?
You
Oh,
have
It
to
might have opened
switch
up in a
your
window that you're
screen.
not Yeah.
Sharing is paused. Bring your shared window to the front. Resume share. Ooh. New share.
So Aviva, what you want to do is stop sharing and then, oh, there you go.
I
Perfect.
fixed it. Okay. Just when we leave this and come back, it'll be special. Okay. So this is the grandfathering chart. And so this chart is geared towards skaters who have already tested standard level tests. So if you are a brand new skater who has never taken a test, you don't need this chart. Just start testing at the beginning and you're fine. So this test is for skaters who have taken standard level tests and they want to compete adult. So let's say that you have passed pre-juvenile free skate and you've always competed pre-juve and you don't have anything higher than pre-juvenile. Regardless of when you pass that test, you are an adult silver skater. You can compete adult silver, and if you want to start testing adult gold moves, you can do that. And if you pass that, you can take an adult gold free skate test. While I'm at it, adult gold moves and adult gold free skate are gold medalist tests. And no matter where you are as a standard track skater, you can always go in if you have the prerequisites and you're 21 and up. You can always go in and test adult gold and get that gold medalist jacket and embroider it. A lot of people really like doing this. So let's do another one. Let's say that you've passed junior free skate. That's the highest test you've passed. And that is where you are. And you've been competing junior standard or perhaps Excel junior. You can compete as a master's junior senior skater. So the event name is hyphenated because anyone who's passed junior or senior is grouped together. And anyone who's passed intermediate and novice is grouped together. While I'm here, I'm going to talk a little bit about what you might see in these events and these levels. So in the adult bronze free skate event, you cannot perform more than a Lutz. In adult silver free skate, you may perform up to an axle. You don't have to, but you can. In adult gold free skate, you may perform axle, double sal, and double toe. Again, you don't have to, so don't worry if you've passed juvenile and you don't have a double toe. You're going to be fine. In the intermediate novice event, you may perform up to a double loop. And then in the junior senior event, anything goes. And again, you don't have to perform a bunch of doubles. We'll see an occasional triple in junior senior. Don't worry if you don't have it. The requirements are very flexible to cater to what you want to do. I personally compete adult gold and I choose not to do more than a Lutz just because I want to go for something clean and I don't want to get my jump stashed. So it really just depends on your goals. And if you are trying to figure out what's your adult level, what to put in that program, and you're really confused, just shoot me an email. My email will be at the end of this presentation and I'm happy to help you. Now I'm going to have to go back to sharing the slideshow, which should be a really special experience. So please bear with me. PowerPoint. Resume share. Stop share. And let me share this. Oops. I'm sorry, this is taking longer than expected. 1 second. Share screen. PowerPoint. There we go. And let me just get this back to full screen and then we're going to talk about Synchro.
Aviva, we have a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. What is it?
Yeah, so could you talk more about what the gold medal means?
Sure. So the gold medalist test is basically, it's the highest test that you can take in a set discipline. So there are, I last counted it. I think there are something like 19 gold medalist tests now if you break it up by standard and adult. So basically there are certain tests which will get you a gold medalist pin, certificate, and a gold medalist jacket. And also your name will be published in Skating Magazine for passing the test. So for adults, these tests would be adult gold moves, adult gold free skate, adult gold dance, either partnered or solo. Also adult gold free dance or adult senior solo free dance would get you that. There's also an adult gold figures test, adult gold pairs. I can't think of any more adult tests. And then of course the adult tests, most of them can be split by age 21 plus or 50 plus. So someone who's over the age of 50 could pass adult gold moves 50 plus, go back past it 21 plus. They got 2 gold medalist tests there. And then we're going to talk a bit more about this later, but no matter your age, you can also always take the standard test. So anyone who passes senior moves, for example, that's a gold medalist test right there. It doesn't matter if you tested adult or standard. So yeah, it's a really great achievement. I personally was very excited when I got that jacket. For me, I made myself wait. I passed adult gold moves and I wouldn't let myself get it because I knew I was capable of getting the free skate. So I waited and got it afterwards. So yeah, it's just a really fun goal and achievement, and it's nice to see your name in that magazine.
We have a couple more questions.
Oh, sure. Let's do more questions.
Yeah. So can a 19-year-old compete at adult sectionals or adult championships? And I'll answer that one. So it's on my slides earlier. So if you're a young adult, 18 to 21, you can come to the adult sectionals. You would do the non-qualifying events. There's a young adult category. For adult championships, you unfortunately have to be 21.
And for your level, you would just follow that chart I just showed. So like if you're 19 years old and you've passed juvenile free skate and you want to sign up for adult sectionals, you would just have to sign up as adult gold because that's your corresponding adult level. But you're welcome to come and we'd love to have you. I actually had a young adult in one of my events the last time I did sectionals, and she was great. She had a great time.
And then a couple more questions for open events at adult championships. Can anyone qualify? What if you're not, what if you haven't started testing yet? Would it be best to start with adult test or go with the standard testing?
That's a lot of questions. We're going to tackle.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the test here in a second. So,
well, for the open events at the adult champs, you do need to at least be adult bronze, so you can't go with no tests. And then we're going to talk a bit about the standard and adult tests later, so we'll wait to answer that one.
For sectionals, there's events you can do without any test.
Correct. And also at sectionals for the non-qual portion, you can always skate up a level because it's a non-qual. So like, let's say you've passed preliminary free skate, which aligns with adult bronze. That means that you could register for the open adult silver event if that's what you're more interested in, or you really want to compete in axle, which wouldn't be allowed in adult bronze. That would be another reason to do that.
There's also a competition series for the adults at sectionals for adult 1 through adult bronze. So those who don't have a qualifying event can compete in the competition series at sectionals.
Correct.
We also have a question on when and where are sectionals in 2022.
In 2022, I should have put that in this slideshow. 2022 sectionals, Eastern sectionals are in Havertown, Pennsylvania. Midwestern sectionals are in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Pacific Coast adult sectionals are in Spokane, Washington, and they are all, I believe, March 11th to 13th. And if you're just doing an open event, you can go to any sectional. So like, even if you're in an Eastern club, if you just would like to go see Washington, as long as you're just doing the open events, go for it. Have fun in Washington. And then the adult champs are in Newark, Delaware, I believe, April 6th through 9th, 2022.
And we have another question wanting clarification on what you mean by adult 1.
Sure. So there are 6 adult beginner, well, so there are 6 adult learn to skate levels, adult 1 through 6, and then it goes to adult beginner and adult high beginner, and then pre-bronze. So the adult 1 level would be like, I believe, a snowplow stop, swizzles, very basic elements. So really, absolutely any skater of any ability can compete at adult sectionals because we have every level imaginable. I'm going to go here, Cheryl.
About synchro. So there's a lot of opportunities for synchro as an adult skater. There's 4 different levels of teams. The adult team, you have to be at least 18 years old. For the master's team, you must be at least 25. Both of those levels are qualifying levels where your team would compete at your respective synchronized skating sectionals to possibly advance on to the US Synchronized Skating Championships. Then there are 2 open level teams, open adult team, which is the level my team is. You have to be at least 18, and open masters team, where you must be at least 25. Both of those teams do not qualify on to the US Synchronized Skating Championships. They kind of top out at their respective synchro sectionals. All of those age requirements are by July 1st of that year.
I'm struggling. Okay.
Okay. And yeah, what I just touched on, adult and masters free skating events are offered at the US Synchronized Skating Championships. You qualify from either Eastern section synchro sectionals or Midwest and Pacific synchronized skating sectionals. So many words. Those are joined together because the Pacific Coast typically doesn't have a lot of synchro teams, so they combine mids and Pacifics together. If you are interested in open collegiate, open adult, and open masters, those are all offered at synchro sectionals. They don't advance on to the US Synchronized Skating Championships. Synchro sectionals are typically in late January, and synchro nationals are either late February or early March, depending on the timing of that year. Can you do both collegiate and adult? Yes, and let me preface this, I do have a clarification on this slide. I was looking at an old rule book. You can do both collegiate and adult. You can cross over between those two. Where I have the wrong part on the slide where it says you can be on collegiate and adult, but not masters, that's not true anymore. There's the crossovers and rules changed for this year. So you can be on 2 different teams as long as they're in 2 different levels. It doesn't matter if they're open, not open. You can cross 2 different teams as long as they're not in the same level. Yep, that's.
Cheryl, you have a question about open versus not open being related to skill level in synchro. Can you talk a bit more about the types of skills we might see in the synchro events?
Absolutely, great question. It doesn't really relate to skill level. Generally, open versus a qualifying team more has to do with numbers and ages. For example, last year, my team is actually that team with the picture with the nuns. We were masters in 2020. That was us at the US Synchronized Skating Championships in 2020. We had skaters not come back just because of, life, adulting, kids, school, work. So we didn't have enough numbers to have a masters team. So we decided to be open adult. It definitely has less to do with skill and more to do with the numbers and the makeup of the team for that year. And there are different, teams will have different skill requirements that you would be notified of coming into like tryouts and stuff. It's up to the individual team to set, say you need to have your novice moves or pre-preliminary moves or juvenile moves, juvenile free, whatnot. Each individual team will kind of make up their own requirements for tryouts.
All right, I'm not seeing any more synchro questions, so I'm going to move on, but we'll also take questions at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted.
Sorry, if you were wondering whether you should start with testing adult or standard, it's ultimately up to you. Once you turn 21, that's the age in which you can take adult tests. You can do testing standard if you want. For me personally, I've stuck with the standard because that's what I've started on. The biggest thing to be mindful of testing standard versus testing adult is the judges' expectations are slightly different. General rule of thumb is if you test adult 21 plus, the skill level is supposed to be about 1 level below. So an example would be if you take a senior moves in the field test on the adult 21 plus, your skating quality should look about the quality of a junior moves in the field on standard track. And if you're doing a 50 plus test, it'd be 2 levels below that. So a senior 50 plus should look like a novice moves standard in terms of skating skills and quality. So for the partner dance test, as an adult candidate, a solo is not required when you get to that, I guess it's silver level and above. So also something to be mindful of. There are some skaters where they start out doing standard and then they switch over to the adult, especially with the dance being that they don't have to do the solo. So that's also something you can do. Just remember that if you want to do adult, you can't use that as a prerequisite and go back to standard. So if you take a junior moves in field test adult, you can't take your senior standard track. You would have to take the junior standard and then do the senior standard. And then I know Aviva mentioned this earlier, but for the adult gold moves in the field and adult gold free skate, you get the gold medalist jacket that I'm wearing now. So, and if you're not sure where to start, you can look at that grandfathering chart that we went over earlier. There was a link that was posted in the chat for it.
This is actually a slightly different chart that I am going to open it, but before I do, I would like to share a fun fact that Kathleen Westmoreland is the only skater who has taken all adult moves in the field tests, pre-bronze through gold, in a single day. She was featured in the magazine, and this had never happened before, and I don't know if it will ever happen again. So I wanted to share that fun fact. I'm going to open up this chart.
Yeah, and also too, so when I did that, I had tested through my intermediate moves, and then I went back and took the adult test for fun. So that's, if there's any people that want to just take a bunch of tests like me, you can always do that. Or, you know, same thing with the free skate test. If you take your intermediate free skate test and then you decide, hey, for the experience, I want to take it, the intermediate free skate 21 plus, you can do that. So I recently did that and just kind of used it as a, you know, experience for nerves, since we weren't competing a lot during the pandemic.
Actually, so I pulled up this chart, and what I've realized is I think the other chart is the better one for skaters in this crowd, because this is mostly for people who passed figures and free skate tests prior to moves in the field. So I actually don't think that anyone on this webinar needs to use this chart, but if there are any older adult skaters on here, please know that we have grandfathering for you as well. But I actually don't think we need to go through this chart in depth now that I'm looking at it. So I'm going to go back to, one moment. Here I go. I'm getting so much quicker at this. I just jinxed myself.
Fires. Let's see. That video.
Hold on. Okay. Screen share. All right. Are we back?
Yes, you just need to do it in the presentation mode.
Perfect. We should have practiced this. Okay. So we're done with synchro and we're done with tests. Wonderful. If you have questions about adult skating, where are you supposed to go? There are a few places to go. So you can visit usfigureskating.org/adult skating, which has a ton of information for you. Also, we're really active on Instagram. Follow us, US Adult Skating. Basically, we created this account so that we could interact with the high school and collegiate crowd. So this is a great place to find us. And you can always email any of us. These are email addresses right here. So at this point, I'm going to open it up to questions and make sure I can see the chat. Where is my chat window? I'm going to find it. I have found my chat window. All right, so if you have questions about adult skating, now is the time. And yeah, if there's anything else that anyone can think of that we haven't covered, please tell us now. Can you email this presentation for the links, etc.? Sarah, can we do that?
Yes, definitely. We can share it with everybody after and the recording.
Awesome. And also the Adult Skating Committee has a YouTube channel. We're not super active on YouTube, so I don't spend a lot of time promoting it, but sorry, I was reading the comment. But we'll put the recording on YouTube. Someone just trying to sell their tickets to nationals. Okay, interesting place to do that. Are there any other questions about adult skating while we're here?
One thing
Yeah.
I did want to add, continuing to skate is a great way to make friends, both all over the US. And then, as you move, if you have to be relocated for your job or you move to a new city after college, going to the rink is just a great way to meet friends for life. So something to keep in mind, just, to keep it up for that reason.
Something I like to say is that I feel like I have a friend in every state. I recently road tripped from Kentucky to Canada, and I just looked at a map and I was just like, okay, who do I know in Michigan? And I found my friend in Michigan and we skated a session together. We have some questions coming in. Can we compete in synchro nationals and adult sectionals? Yes, but that's an interesting one because they're really close together. This week, are they back-to-back weekends, Cheryl?
They are back-to-back weekends. And that they have been for several years now. Ask me how I know. Synchro Nationals is typically the last weekend of February or the first weekend of March. And the adult sectionals are always the weekend after. Always, they have been the past few years. It's a little hectic. But yes, you absolutely can do anything in synchro, compete anything in synchro, compete anything in adult, not qualifying and qualifying sectionals. I've done it. There's nothing preventing you from doing that.
And something I'll add is they will never, ever be the exact same weekend.
Right.
But it's just that they're always very close together. So it's something to keep in mind. We have a question. How would someone over 50 compete? Well, first of all, to compete, it's going to be based on your test levels. So I'm assuming that this person over 50 has passed some tests. And then you just sign up for adult competitions. And if you're at the adult championships, the events would be divided by age class so that you are not against people who are too far from your age. So the age classes are class 1, which is 21 to 35. Class 2 is 36 to 45. Class 3 is 46 to 55. Class 4 is 56 to 65. And age class 5 is for the age 66 plus. We have a question on showcase versus freestyle events. That's a great question. So showcase, as Elaine mentioned, will be split into 2 categories. One is emotional performance. You may know it as dramatic. And the other is lyrical pop character comedy, which you may also know as light entertainment. And showcase, while we do have a new component judging system, they're not really supposed to be judging on technical merit. It doesn't matter what jumps you do. It doesn't matter if you get a leveled spin. You could do a great showcase program and win your event with no jumps and no spins if you are entertaining enough. Whereas a free skate event, this is your typical, set number of jumps, set number of spins, a step sequence. For adult silver and up, a free skate is typically going to be judged under IJS, and for adult bronze and below, it'll typically be done under 6.0. So I hope that helps, and we can talk more about showcase and free skate if you specify.
And free skate, just like the standard track levels, we have the well-balanced program sheets that have all of the requirements laid out, just like you guys do for the standard track.
So we have an 18-year-old with little experience in skating. Where do they start? Well, you can come to adult sectionals. As we've said, it doesn't matter if you've passed any tests, you can still come. So that's a great place to start. I'd also highly recommend getting a private lesson coach if you haven't done that. And just talking to the adult skaters around you and seeing what competitions are coming up. Maybe there's like an edge class that you can do with other adults. That would be pretty great. And get involved in collegiate skating if you are a college student who's eligible. And that's a really nice transition to adult skating. And yeah, meanwhile, you can come to adult sectionals. Are there adult championships? Yes. Adult camps. I thought they meant adult champs. Yes. So periodically there are adult camps. The most popular one is the last week of August in Sun Valley, Idaho, is annual adult skating week. And Kathleen, isn't there an adult-friendly camp in your area coming up for dance?
There is a solo dance camp coming up. I believe it's over President's Day in February. It's a 3-day camp, and it's standard track skaters and adult skaters. All ages are welcome. I'm going to do it. I call myself a pretend dancer. I'm a dancer for 3 days a year, but it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of edges and stuff. So come join. It's with the Dallas Figure Skating Club.
Actually, the Adult Skating Committee maintains a Google Doc with a list of upcoming camps, clinics, and competitions. While I'm screen sharing, Kara, if you're still there, could you please put the Google Doc in the chat? That would be amazing. And on this Google Doc, we'll list some upcoming camps and then just upcoming competitions that have adult events. Someone's asking for the closing date. Great questions. For prerequisites. Okay, so for competing at sectionals or the adult champs, the closing date for everything is February 1st. You got to pass your test by February 1st. You have to turn 21 by February 1st. If your birthday is February 1st, that's okay. We will take you. If your birthday is February 2nd, that's a problem.
And one thing to be mindful of on the testing is the rules recently changed where you don't have to wait 28 days to take a test. So if you take the test, say early January, and you don't pass it, you still have time to get in another test and try to pass.
And then for the adult bronze pairs, actually, you don't need the adult bronze pair test to compete adult bronze pairs. The rules for pairs are really flexible. And as long as you have the right singles tests, you will be allowed to compete adult pairs. So I would recommend just checking the rule book on that. Our YouTube channel name, that's an excellent question. I think it's just US Figure Skating Adult Skating Committee. I'm pretty sure that's it. In terms of testing, if you have passed preliminary solo pattern dance, would you be eligible for the adult championships? No. You would need, so to compete, there is a partnered pre-bronze pattern dance event. So if you have a partner, you could do that event, but if you're just competing solo, you'd be in the bronze dance event. So you'd need to take a few more tests. And moves in the field is never a prerequisite for competing. It's always going to come down to your free skate or your dance tests. Ooh, Cheryl, that's a great question. Is there a list of adult synchro teams?
I can find out from Kylie if they're published anywhere. I mean, I obviously I know the ones in my area. But I can definitely email Kylie and find if they publish a list of which teams are available where.
Can you throw Kylie's email in the chat, actually? So Kylie is the point person at US Figure Skating headquarters for synchronized skating. And if any skater, including adults, is looking for a team, they can email Kylie Gaff and she'll help them out and let them know what's in their area. It's very much a niche thing. It's similar to Theater on Ice as well, where it's exciting when you find a team, but I know there are people who have to commute to be on their team because there isn't one in their area. Whereas, or you could be like Cheryl and live in Massachusetts where there are several adult synchro teams. So it just kind of depends. For sectionals, does it happen where there are less than 4 competitors relating to qualifying for nationals? Do ages get grouped? That's 2 separate questions. Okay, so first of all, for the champ events, if there are fewer than 4 competitors, we do have the fill-up rule. For women's singles events, you will never see the fill-up rule in place, but you will often see it in men's singles, pairs, and dance. So that does happen sometimes. Hold on, I lost the ability to scroll up. Do ages get grouped? So for the championship events, they're never divided by age. But that's why we have the open events, and it's very regimented with the groupings at the adult championships. But at other competitions, you may see some more wiggle room. A lot of it depends on who shows up. Like if a ton of adult skaters show up to a competition, they will try to split it. But if there are only a few, it's more about just putting a group together. Are there adult synchro camps, Cheryl?
No, there used to be. I have not heard of any recently. I know in the past there have been. If there are any, they would likely be put on by Hayden, Hayden Recreation Figure Skating Club, the Haydenettes in Massachusetts. It's definitely something that I can keep an eye out for. I have not heard of any recently, though.
Yeah, if we hear of any, I'd be fine with putting that on our list of events too. That would be good
Okay.
to share if we hear about it.
Yeah, and a caveat that would not typically be for adult skaters. They usually do target them toward like kids, basically. But again, we'll keep an eye out. If I see any with adult components, we'll absolutely put it on our Google Doc.
So the fill-up rule. This is the exact same for standard track as it is for the adult track. So it means that if there are fewer than 4 entries from one section, we will take more entries from another section. So let's say that there are only 2 skaters in a championship event from the Pacific Coast section. That means that we would take more from the Eastern section and more from the Midwestern section, and just to fill it up so that there are at least 12 competitors. And we don't want to punish the bigger sections if the smaller section doesn't have as many skaters. So that's why we use the fill-up rule. And again, you'll never see it for women's singles, but you'll see it in the other events. What are the rules for switching back and forth between adult track and standard track? That's a great question. So it's pretty flexible, and we have rules in place that will allow you can go to regionals as a standard track skater and go to adult champs in the same year. That's fine. It's just an issue if you qualify. So for example, I'm trying to think of someone who'd be a good example, but wasn't like top 4 in the country. Okay, Jimmy Ma. He's over the age of 21. He wasn't top 4 in the country, but he went to nationals. And because he qualified for nationals, that means that he couldn't come to the adult champs. But someone who competed senior men and didn't qualify for nationals, they could come on over to the adult champs. I hope that makes sense. And it's the same for pairs and dance as well. Like if you compete senior dance at the US champs, even if you don't place particularly well, you can't come compete championship adult dance. You can still come for an open event though, and also you can always try a different discipline. So like, what I mean by that is, okay, Mariah Bell could, in theory, show up to the adult championships as a championship pairs skater. That would be fine, because her singles tests put her in there, but she has no fancy pairs achievements. I hope that makes sense. Are adult skaters
Also, in regard to testing too, say you've tested your adult silver moves in free skate, which is equivalent to pre-juvenile, you can't go sign up for pre-juvenile free skate. It doesn't work the reverse way. But if you had passed your pre-juve free skate, you could sign up for adult silver in competition. So it flips one way, but not the other. Just something to be mindful of if you meant it in that context.
Totally. This is a great question, and I'm going to kind of farm this one out. Are adult skaters allowed to practice with standard track skaters on club ice? Almost always, yes. And if you have a rink that does leveled sessions, most of the time they're going to already include the adult level equivalent. And if not, you can ask. So like if a freestyle session says you must have a juvenile free skate to be on this freestyle session, they'd probably accept adult gold. You just need to reach out. And do most adult skaters take lessons? If they're competing, yes. It's really going to vary, and I'm going to survey everyone here to see what they say. For me personally, I practice 3 days a week, and I'll take 1 to 2 lessons a week.
I practice 2 to 3 days a week with an additional day of taking a lesson. I only get 1 lesson a week.
I do 1 practice day a week, 1 lesson, and 1 day of synchro.
I practice 6 days a week and have lessons 5 days a week.
So that's why I wanted to do that, because I wanted to show you how much variety there is. I feel like 3 days a week is pretty average for adult skaters. And also it depends on how ambitious your competition goals are. Like if you want to compete in 3 events, you might want to practice more than if you're competing in 1 event. Like for Cheryl, she has a whole day when she's just doing synchro, because that's a whole other thing. So yeah, so it just kind of depends. Cheryl, this one's for you. For synchro, what are the ranges of skill levels in the adult levels?
It completely varies. You will have anything from no test level skaters up to skaters with senior moves and senior free. it really depends on the team and the level. My team has a pretty broad range of abilities and skill levels and tests. It runs the gamut. Everything is acceptable and accepted. It just depends on the team.
I know that there are some synchro teams that will require you to be a certain test level, but
Yes.
I think in general, it's not a particularly high test level. Like they might want preliminary or adult bronze or something.
Yeah, for like strictly US figure skating rules, only the adult level has a requirement of preliminary moves in the field. That's it. All the other levels, there's no test requirements. But again, a team could set a test requirement at their tryouts. So yeah. Is it still fun competing synchro with lower level skills? Since there's no way to compete with the senior folks. Synchro is fun no matter what. I mean, like I said, my team has a broad range of skill level, and I never think about them as being a different skill set than me. We're all just working together toward one common goal of making our program the best we can be. Yeah, that's one of the best things about Synchro, and I think it's something I think maybe Elaine touched on before, is that it's a great way to keep up skating. It's a great way to make new friends. It's a great way to share the sport with other people who also love the sport.
I'll also add that it's a great way to improve your skills. I feel like there are a lot of people who show up to synchro and end up advancing in moves in the field because they did synchro. Do we know of any adult skaters in Wisconsin? Of course. So I lived in Madison, Wisconsin for 6 years, and there's a great population of adult skaters, and I actually believe they still have an open masters synchro team as well. Milwaukee, Wisconsin also has a pretty good adult skating population. I think there are some adult skaters in Kenosha, and then you'll also find some in northern Wisconsin. I don't know if you can hear my wife in the background. But yeah, there's a big adult skating population in Wisconsin. And actually there is a Facebook group for Wisconsin adult skaters. So come join that. I could never leave the group, even though I haven't lived there since 2017. So come join the Wisconsin Adult Skaters Facebook group. Could I do Excel standard track and adult non-qualifying sectionals in the same year? Absolutely. So for adult non-qual, really anything goes. It doesn't matter. It's only the championship level events at the adult championships where it gets a little tricky. So yeah, definitely please do both. I actually think the adult track is very appealing to the Excel crowd in general, because they're dedicated and passionate, but it's a little less intense. You're already making a friend from Wisconsin in the chat. Appleton. I don't know any adult skaters in Appleton off the top of my head, but there's a lot of adult skating in general in Wisconsin, and I don't think that you'd have a problem. And there are also a lot of competitions in Wisconsin. I'm not sure how far you are from Pleasant Prairie, but they do a competition every summer that I know a lot of adults really love going to.
There's also a few Facebook groups just for US competitive skating and adult skating. So if you join one of those on Facebook, they're pretty easy to find. If you search, you can just say, hey, I'm from Appleton, Wisconsin. Are there any adult skaters? And I promise you, there'll probably be several people that'll chime in.
Yeah, I've definitely done that before when I was moving.
I've done that before too, to like find rinks in areas I'm traveling for work and stuff. So
the competition series, I can talk about the adult competition series. So this is for adult skaters from the adult 1 through adult bronze level. And the way it works is that you need to compete at least once throughout the May through February season. And you send us your competition results, and that's how you earn points. And we have a whole scale for earning points in the series. So basically, if you place first in a group of 2, you won't earn as many points for if you place first in a group of 5, because that was harder. And then you send us the results, and then you register for the series. You can start registering on December 15th this year. And then you come to adult sectionals and compete there, and that's where you earn your final points. And the trophies for the adult competition series final are gorgeous. And you can get more information about the adult competition series at our website, usfigureskating.org/adultskating. And just feel free to shoot me an email. But yeah, just note that it's only for adult bronze and lower. So if you've passed pre-June and up, you can't do the adult competition series. And yes, it can be any sanctioned US figure skating event to count for points. And we will take virtual competition results as well. Wisconsin people making friends. Mississippi skaters, that is a niche. Off the top of my head, I don't know any adult skaters from Mississippi, but again, I'm sure they're out there. Like they've got to be there. Their adult skaters are everywhere. It's really remarkable. I'm gonna give them a couple more minutes for questions.
Aviva, why don't you tell the story about the photo on the left while we're waiting for questions?
Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, so the picture on the left, so the person on the right who's holding a trophy, her name is Molly Mcgowan, and she's holding that trophy because she was the oldest competitor at the 2021 Adult Championships. So every year we give a trophy to the oldest competitor to symbolize the longevity in the sport. I believe that Molly, at the time of winning this trophy, was 81 years old. And she competed in adult bronze lyrical pop character comedy. And she did a hilarious program where she pretended to be a judge who was judging her own skating. So standing next to Molly is, her name's Alexandra. What was her last name? I can't come up with her last name off the top of my head, but she was lovely. So she was the youngest competitor at the adult champs. So she was the youngest 21-year-old we had. So we had Alexandra present the trophy to Molly, and we do this every year, and it's really fun. The picture in the middle is our championship adult silver ladies event this year, because it was the largest adult championships event in history with 35 competitors. I believe that only 31 are in the picture. The running joke is that they ate the other 4. And then the picture on the far right is me with my friend Rachel Reynolds, who competed as a T-Rex. Question about Minnesota. Oh my God, there's so much skating in Minnesota. You're gonna have so much fun. Elaine, talk about skating in Minnesota.
So we consider ourselves some of the fortunate ones in like the Twin Cities metro area. There are, probably 20 plus competitive adult skaters. We actually have adult events at the Minnesota State Championships every year that are contested. So most of those events will have a podium or more of skaters at every level. So it's really, we have a lot.
I'm very jealous of Minnesota. That's a great place to make friends in skating. I see we have Brittany in the University of Delaware Figure Skating Club and on the collegiate team. Yes, we'll be seeing you. And Brittany, if you happen to turn 21 on or before February 1st of 2022, you should sign up and compete. And otherwise you can come volunteer. I'm really hoping we'll get a lot of Delaware skaters.
Brittany, I skated on the collegiate team for UD when I was in college. So tell Joel and Sasha hi for me. Those are the collegiate coaches.
Amazing. I went to skating camp at University of Delaware when I was in high school, and I believe it's the hardest I've ever worked in my entire life.
I did that too in high school, and it was intense.
Brittany, you're old enough. Yes, come compete. This is going to be great. This is going to be so much fun. Okay, this is your last call for questions. Okay, skating in the Davis or Sacramento area. I think there are skaters from the Davis area who joined the Los Angeles Figure Skating Club with, like, I think that the Young twins, or at least they went to school in that area. Maybe they don't live near there anymore. But the Los Angeles Figure Skating Club is in that vicinity. So I'll talk about that a bit. That club is one of the most adult friendly clubs in the country. And definitely all over California, you will find plenty of opportunities to skate and compete. I know that Davis has a year-round rink because I actually at one point thought I was going to be moving there. So I've researched it. If you plan on testing adult track, do you have to start from the beginning? Not if you have passed standard tests. Oh, Vacaville and Roseville. Okay. Oh, I know a competitor from Vacaville. Kelly McDaniel. She's a silver. She's in Vacaville. Okay. Yeah, there's plenty of skating in that area. You'll be fine. Do you have to start from the beginning? No, as long as you've passed standard tests, you use the chart. And if you have any problems signing up for a test, you can just email the Adult Skating Committee and we'll help you. Occasionally I hear from test chairs or headquarters because someone's taking their first ever adult test and I help them out. So yeah, you'll be fine. Sarah, I think we should wrap this up.
That sounds good. Well, thank you guys so much for attending. Aviva and the rest of the committee, thank you guys for all of your great knowledge. I think it's awesome that we can really just continue this pipeline of high school to college, college to adult. There's a place for everybody in figure skating. So with that, we will send out the recording tomorrow. It will be posted on the YouTube channel and we will share the slides as well as the contacts. So thank you guys so much and we will see you soon. Have a good night.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Bye.